Giving all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah for the reading and the understanding of his word today. Hello out there, family. This is the Shimmer from Yo Bro with Yo Bro Shi'yah. Our brother couldn't make it today. He had overtime. I hope y'all forgive him for that. Today, we got a very interesting class, not a long class, but a very interesting class, a class that we we've been needing to do. I want to start by giving homage, honor, and glory to Yahweh and the son Yahweh Shah for the reading and understanding of his word. I also want to give homage and I want to give exhortation to those who are keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments and the faith in the Mashiach Yahweh Shah. Now, today, the class, this is the title of this class is called Healing Broken People. Healing Broken People. I've done classes similar to this in the past, but this time we're going to go a little bit different. What I'm talking about is, what I'm referring to is our brothers and sisters that are also in the truth, that are trying to get where they need to get. Some of us are caught up in things that we have no idea. Some of us are doing things wrong, but we're starting to learn, right? So I wrote down some precepts that the Father gave me understanding on, and we're going to go through these things. I hope you guys had a good week. My week, this past week, was very interesting. I did a class last Sabbath on activating your wisdom, right? My brother Yakal told me, he said, and because we got into an incident out at camp, and so Yakal said something very interesting. He said, we did a class, and he said we got tested on exactly what we went over. So I want y'all to understand, in the course of us healing, in the course of us walking this walk, we are going to be tested on certain things. We're going to be tested on our old man versus the new man we claim to be. The spiritual man we're trying to be, the spiritual person we're trying to be, we're going to be tested against that fleshly person time and time again. What is this? What are these tests for? These tests are to make us better and take us to the next level. Okay, you're not tempted or being tested for evil purposes. You're tempted in being tempted and being tested to see if you have developed as a spiritual person and developed in your walk. Right? Then watch this. I want you to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 1. And you guys, you're going to constantly be tested. Somebody asked me a long time ago, when am I going to stop getting tested? When am I going to stop going through? Well, you may stop going through turmoil, but you're never going to stop being tested, because you have to develop and become that person that the Most High is trying to egg you on to be. You got to be better, right? This is Psalms chapter 147 in verse 1. Now watch this. It reads, it reads, praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praise unto your Elohim, for it is pleasant and praise is comely, meaning it's good to praise him. And we got to remember to stay in the spirit and praise him. I'm going to watch this. Verse 2. Yahweh doth build up Jerusalem and gathereth together the outcast of Israel. Stop. When we're being gathered together, this is a people being tested. When he's gathering us together, he's trying us. Like he says in Sirach chapter 2, he's trying us in the fire as gold is tried in the fire. Like he says in the book of Lamentations, he's trying us as gold is being tried in the fire. And so sometimes we're not ready, but then other times we have unexpected tests and we pass them. I had an unexpected test this week and I passed it. I'm not saying I'm going to pass all of them. I'm just happy that I passed the one that was given to me this week. And so watch this. I want to read verse 2 for you. Verse 3. This is Psalms chapter 147 and verse 3. Now watch this. It says, he healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. How does he heal the broken in heart? We start to learn. We start to put into motion those things that we learn in these scriptures, and it begins to heal our minds. It begins to make us better people. It begins to give us an understanding that's not known in this free world, right? This world that we call free, right? And it says, and bindeth up their wounds, meaning the things that they went through. They get to heal from them, right? Watch this. Verse 4. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their names, meaning he knows all of those that belong to him. He knows them. Verse 5. Great is our Elohim, and of great power. His understanding is infinite. I'm gonna read that last part again. His understanding is infinite. Watch this. When you guys go through things and you're trying to get better and you fail trying to get better, his understanding is going to be infinite. When someone else sees that maybe give up on you, they see that you're maybe not doing as well as they would like for you to. I'm going to tell you guys this. All of you guys' walks are different. I would tell you guys to each do as best as you can. Keep to be righteous. Don't come up with excuses for failure. Rather, continue to try to do better. Okay? But his patience and his, like it says in verse 5, his understanding is infinite. Your understanding may not be that of another person's. I've spoke to you guys about this before. That's okay. That it's different, but you have to continue to try to do better, right? Watch this. I want you to go to Romans chapter 8 and verse 16, right? Matter of fact, before I go there, you need to go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. These are the people, these are the ones that he's gathering. Watch this. And remember, when we're coming out of the world, he's gathering us up from being in the world. So we can't be so harsh on ourselves. We cannot be so harsh on other people, because we're coming from what? The sickness of the world. Watch this. This is a prophecy. Chapter 4 and verse 27, it says, and Yahweh shall scatter you among all nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whether Yahweh shall lead you. Now watch this. We're going to be left few in number, meaning we're going to come together. It's not going to be a lot of us that are going to have this understanding. A lot of times it's going to be shrouded. You're going to be against, your family's going to be against you. People are going to be against you. Things are going to happen, but we're going to be left few in number. When it says we're left few in number, that's going to be the people who wake up to this truth, right? We have organizations that have a whole bunch of people. That is nothing compared to the total number of who it is that we are as a race of people. That's nothing compared to that number, okay? We got people waking up every day, but we got to remember that we are left few in number, okay? Like Christ said, my sheep hear my voice and they know me and I know them, right? Now watch this. Go to Romans chapter 8, verse 16, because this is how we're going to be known. Excuse me. This is how we're going to be known. And you have to remember this. This is so important. It says, 8 and 16 says, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Yahweh, and joint heirs of Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So he's going to gather up a few of us. Now, those of us that are gathered up, right, are going to be tried. Now, I believe that we're in a time right now of purging, tribulation. I see I didn't believe that at first, but I see so many people coming into the truth of understanding and then falling away from it. I see so many people going back into their vomit, right? Going back into their old ways. The dog goes back into his vomit. And I see people trying to stay with it and fighting. And we're in a very turbulent time in this truth. It's very turbulent, but that's okay. Because when you're going through stuff, I see the devil tempting a lot of us with our lust or things that we struggle with. When we're going through these things, people, we need to remember to steadfast, to stay in this fight. And it is a fight. Okay. Depend on your brothers and sisters that are there to help you. That's what I'll say. We got to depend on each other. We got to depend on our brothers and sisters, and we got to stay in this fight. Don't let anybody turn you away from this truth. You know, I've seen several people. I've talked to several people that have just went back to the world, and that's not the way to go. I've talked to certain people who think that they're still in this truth, but they've gone back into the world doing those things that they should not do. Now watch this. Now watch this. This is who he came to save. This is who Christ came for. This verse, I don't know why, but I'm just going to follow the Spirit and listen to the Father and just do what he says. Go to Matthew chapter 18 and verse 11. Matthew 18. And I was like, why did you tell me to put this in there? I said, you know what? I'm not gonna argue with the Father. I'm just gonna do what he say. This is Matthew chapter 18 in verse 11. It says, for the Son of Man is come to save that which is lost. We are the lost. We are the people that are the lowest of the low. This is who the Son of Man, or Hamashiach Yahushua, came to save. And we have to remember that. A lot of times we can't see Christ in each other. So we tend to talk to each other bad. We tend to look at each other in a dim light. And we got to learn how to see each other. We got to heal ourselves so we can see the love, or we can see the Christ in our brothers and sisters, so that we can start showing that love. Because it's hard to show love if you really think you're a nigga. If you really think in those terms, it's hard to see righteousness. It's hard to see goodness. It's hard to see those things. We got to start healing from that. We got to start seeing each other as royalty, right? That's why we do these things. That's why we call each other, hey, king, how you doing, king? How you doing, queen? You know, that's why we have to remember these things. It's hard to remember when a person is acting very primitive or acting as a heathen. It's hard to see them like that. It's so difficult to see them like that. But I'm going to challenge my people. I'm going to challenge my people to still see that in the person. And this doesn't mean that you're going to be with them and y'all going to be bosom buddies, but you got to still see that, and you got to still exhort that. Okay. Don't stoop to the level of the oppressor. Don't stoop to the level of those trying to oppress you. I'm going to say that. My son was having issues yesterday with somebody, with a situation at his job, and he was really upset, and he came to me and talked about it. I said, well, remember, at the end of the day, you're at work. You should be professional. If the person is speaking to you in a way that you don't like at the time, go ahead and do the job that person's asking you to do. Don't make a scene at that moment. Now, if it bothers you, you know, y'all can talk later, but at that moment, do the job, right? And he understood. He didn't like it at first, but he understood. The same thing applies to us. Sometimes when a person is disgruntled or a person is sick, or you're not vibing, sometimes it's not the time to address every issue. Sometimes you just have to do the task in front of you and let that task be. And sometimes you'll decide to talk about it later, or just let it go. You know, I'm not going to say let everything go, because man, these Jakes out here are incredible. So they will push you to the point. But we got to remember we're coming from being sick. We're dealing with a sick people. Okay. And I want that to be a factor when we're dealing with our people, because I was tested last week till, man, I almost came to blows with a brother. But I had to remember who I was. I had to remember what the mission was. I had to remember that there was an Israelite too. I had to remember these things. And these things, when in the heat of the moment, we forget everything. We forget all things in the heat of the moment, and you don't have regret until that lust in you has taken charge. And when I say lust, I'm talking about if you really, like, if you have a propensity to fight and you're trying to get that out of you, that's a lust. If you have a propensity to cuss somebody out and you don't say nothing, that's a lust. And you have to deny those lusts. You have to not let those lusts take hold of you, right? Okay. Now watch this. I want to give you a scripture for that, what we just talked about. Go to First John. Go to First John chapter 2, and we're gonna start. I'm gonna show you real quick. We're gonna get there real quick because the Father just gave me this, so I'm just gonna give it as the Father is giving it to me. I'm gonna give it to you. This is First John chapter. I'm gonna start at chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 16. First John chapter 2 and verse 16. It says, For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. Stop right there. He's telling you the world passed away, and everything that you wanted to do, every impulse that you had, it's going to pass too. And because that's why he said, in the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. So we have to remember to do the will of the Father. Sometimes those lusts can get you. Those lusts can get, man, I'm going to tell y'all something. I was coming in, and I think I've spoken about this before. As a young man, I was a brawler. That was part. I was very quiet, but I was a brawler. I was a big brawler. I was a brawler. Oh man, I was a very rambunctious, and that's one of my lusts that I fight every day, because I'm a 50-year-old man now that has made it this far in life, and I'm learning that there are better ways to deal with people than to be that can never get you anywhere when you're trying to please the Most High. You understand? That can't get you where you need to be when you're trying to please the Father. And I'm learning that, and unfortunately, I'm learning it slowly. I'm 50 years old learning it, but this is the propensity that we have. Okay, now watch this. I want you to go to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah. And I say that because I know that I have brothers and sisters that are struggling with the same thing. I'm not the only, I refuse to believe that I'm the only man that struggles with that. That can't be true. You know, I know many people with warrior spirits, and I'm not saying for you brothers to get rid of your warrior spirit. You have it for a reason, but we have to have control over it rather than it have control over us, right? Watch this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is about a man giving into his emotions. Now watch this. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 4. And it says, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel. Now watch this. When it says children that are corrupters, when the Bible says every bird loves his own kind, right? When we would be around as a young person, when I would be around, I would be attracted to people that were the same type of people as I was, right? And we would do nothing but egg each other on to be more and more of that which is against God, right? It says children that are corrupters, because that's what we naturally do. Now watch this. It says, they have forsaken the Most High. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward, meaning they're going primitive. They're doing everything opposite. Now watch this. Verse 5. Why shall ye be stricken anymore? So why should you continue more in that same behavior? Ye will revolt more and more, meaning you're going to go backwards more and more. And the whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint, meaning we're so caught up in who we in being sinful. We're just, every thought is sick. Everything that we think of is sick, right? Verse 6. From the sole of the feet, from the sole of the feet even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mortified with ointment, meaning the way that we are, our sinful ways, what we do, it's just from the head of from the sole of your feet to the top of your head, it's just all sin. That's what we that's what we start with. This is the condition that we start in. From the sole of your feet to the top of your head, you start in sin, totally sin. And you start with habits that are against the Most High. You start with habits that are against your own best interests. That's how we start. We start out, and so we're building ourselves up to get out of those behaviors. We're building. So sometimes when we're building ourselves up to get out of those behaviors, we fall, we make mistakes. Sometimes we fall back into those behaviors out of emotion, just like we read in chapter 2, verse 16 of First John, right? We fall sometimes. And even if you fall, it's okay. You get back up and you try to do better, right? I'm telling y'all, I almost failed this past week, but I didn't, and I praise the Most High for blessing me to move to that next level, for blessing me. And I told my brother, I knew that I was going to be tested because I was praying, and I asked the Father for more wisdom, and I asked him for more patience. And in the midst of me saying that I wanted more patience, in the midst of me saying that, I try to take that prayer back. I try to take it back because I know how the Most High gives us more patience. What he does is he sends someone to test that patience. He sends someone to test you when he wants you to develop more patience. And I knew that's how he was going to do it. And he did exactly that, y'all. He did exactly that. And I was like, I don't want more patience. And I just did it. I said, you know what? You right, Father. I asked for it, and he sure gave it to me, right? I want you to go to Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 5. We're gonna get some more. He sure gave it to me, and I praise the Most High that he blessed me to pass it this time. I praise the Most High for that. Watch this. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 5. Thus saith the Most High, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh his flesh arms, and whose heart departeth from the Most High. It's telling you, if you're relying on your carnal self to hold back your carnal self, you're gonna fall. If you're relying on anything except for the wisdom of these scriptures to help you, right? I'm gonna read it again. He says, thus says the Most High, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and make it flesh his arm. Meaning, I'm just going to count on me. I'm going to count on me to maintain myself. No, I'm going to read the scripture. I'm going to apply it after reading it. Like we studied last week in Sabbath, to activate your wisdom. And I'm going to try, even though I have certain emotions that are going to come out of me, I'm going to try to apply these scriptures, and I'm going to let that take me over. I'm going to keep them in my mind. Verse 6. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh. Because when we stay in the flesh, we don't see when good happens. We don't see the benefit to being tested. We don't see the benefit to things happening to make us better, right? It said, shall not see when good cometh, but shall inherit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. A salt land meaning we won't have nothing, right? If we can't learn to see and recognize when we're being tested, what the test is, how to pass the test, we're going to be in trouble. I seen the test. I recognized what was going on, and I learned how to pass the test. If we can't break it down like that, we're gonna be sent over and over through the same thing, right? Only reason why I feel I'm able to continue teaching, continue to give this word, continue to go to the streets, is when I keep myself in a certain behavior. If my brothers and sisters around me, if I'm going to demand for them to be in a certain behavior, I have to be in a certain behavior. So when tests come, man, we got to pass them. My other brother, he's dealing with something else personal, and he got to pass his test. My brother, shout out to Shalimar. He got another, he has a test, just like I had a test. And we're all standing up to help my brother pass his test. Sometimes you don't get to pass it by yourself. Sometimes you need your brothers and sisters to what? To be there to help you. You understand? That's what we need. So shout out to my brother Shalamo. We here for you, brother. And shout out to my brother Richard Steptoe. We here for you, brother. If any of my other brothers have any things that they want to talk about in our chat later, if anything is ailing them, bro, we will hop on a fast for you. We will get on that fast and we will try to make sure that we are there for our brothers, because that's what it takes sometimes. You know, some brothers, and I tell y'all that some brothers are embarrassed or ashamed to go through something. But if we don't get over that embarrassment part and that ashamed part, we're never going to get past the next level. Y'all understand that? We got to get to the next level, y'all. It's time out for being embarrassed and ashamed and stuff, because we know that people go through stuff. People are people. And we got a saying around here: life be lifing, life be happening. So when life start lifing, you're gonna either put up or shut up. You're gonna either barbecue or mildew. It's whichever one you want to do, but you're gonna do one or the other. Y'all see that? Go to Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 26. We're gonna get some wisdom today. We're gonna get some wisdom today. Now watch this. This is Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 26. Watch this. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. Stop. It said he that trusted in his own heart is a fool. So those of you who are trusting and go off to yourself and go off by yourself when tragedy strikes, or when calamity happens, or when things don't go your way and you go off by yourself, you're trusting in your own heart. The Bible says you're a fool. It says, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. How do you walk wisely? Well, number one, it tells you to seek counsel. Number two, it tells you two are better than one. In Ecclesiastes, it says two are better than one, right? For if you are, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find that. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. It says, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. What labor is he talking about? There can be labor of going through a sin or going through something that is hard to get out of, and you have people to help you. It could be something as simple as that. And it says, now watch this. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 10, it says, for if they fall, meaning fall into sin, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he has not another to help him up. Boom. See, we need to get past that embarrassment, because we have to be there for our brothers and sisters that fall. Fall where? Fall how? Fall into sin. Not fall literally on the ground, right? But fall into sin. Verse 11, again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? How can you fight any sin that you go through by yourself? That's what it's saying here. How can you do that? Right? It says, and if one, verse 12, and if one prevaileth against him, two shall withstand him. And a third cord is not quickly broken. Meaning, if we have two is great. Two is good. But what if we have three brothers to help you with that sin you caught up in? Uh-oh. What if we have four brothers to help you? What if we have five? What if six brothers hop on the fast with you? What if seven hop on the fast with you? You see that? Now you have support. Now you have people that are in your corner. Now you have people that you can call. If one person is at work or asleep or whatever is going on, you can have somebody you can talk to whenever that sin starts getting up in you, whenever that sin starts itching you. Y'all see that? That's what this is talking about, right? I want you to go to Sirach chapter 20 and verse 28. We're going to keep this going. We're going to learn wisdom today. We're going to get wisdom today. This is Sirach chapter 20 and verse 28. Now watch this. This is a very important precept. It says, he that tilleth his land shall increase his heap, and he that pleaseth great men shall get pardon for iniquity. Whoa. This is very heavy because it's telling us he that tilleth his land, he that tilleth his land shall increase his heap. What is that saying? If you're tilling your land, or if you are strengthening yourself in these scriptures, if you're studying and you're learning like you're supposed to, right? You're building yourself up, right? That you're going to be stronger, right? So it's telling you, he that tilleth his land shall increase his heap, and he that pleases great man shall pardon his iniquity. If you learn how to deal with your brothers in righteousness, that's going to be a lot of pardon for your iniquity. Why? Because they're going to be there to help you when you fall. They're going to be there to reason with you when things are not going right. They're going to counsel you through tough times of pain or sorrow or woes or being let down or being, all these things, right? Watch this. Verse 29, it says, presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up the mouth that he cannot reprove. Meaning, if you receive a gift from somebody, it's harder to correct a person that you're getting a benefit from. If you're receiving something from that person, or they're giving you something, or you getting some, whatever you're getting, a gift or money or whatever, it is harder to correct that person. Even if that gift sometime is friendship. I recently got into a relationship with my two sons, and I've been happy for them to come back into my life, right? Now, the only gift I've gotten from my sons is their presence, right? Is them coming into my life, which is wonderful. I'm very strategic about certain things that I say. If it's something important and I need to tell them that it's detrimental to them, I have to tell them anyway. I'm like, well, they just came into my life. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to do this. Yeah. But if you're receiving a benefit, that's fine. But you still have to reprove or correct people that you love that's in your life, or that's going in a bad way. So you have to say certain things, right? My oldest son loved Edomites. He had an Edomite girlfriend. His last 3 girls was Edomites. I mean, this is just what it was, right? And I told my son, well, son, you're Israelite. You got to do this. You have to be with somebody from your own tribe. You be a Black, Hispanic, or Native American, or whatever. But you need to push those Edomites to the side, man. Right? And I told him, my youngest son, he loved Asians. I said, no, son, you got to be with, the people from your tribe. Was it hard? We just got back in the connection. Damn, he already telling me, but it is what it is. I did say it in a nice way. I think I brought it in the right context, but still, it's hard, right? Watch this. Verse 30. This is chapter 20 and verse 30 of the book of Sirach. It says, wisdom that is hid and treasure that is hoarded up, what profit is it in them both? So if you have wisdom and you don't share it, or if you get profit and you're not spending it, you got money and you're not spending it, what good are they both? If I have all this knowledge for the last 7 years, I've been estranged from my 2 sons for 6 years. I'm a priest now. I have wisdom. I know these scriptures. If I have wisdom and I hide it from them, and I don't tell them what's righteous according to the Most High God, what good am I then? Y'all see that? That doesn't make sense, right? Read it again. Wisdom that is hid and treasure that is hoarded up. What profit? What it says, what profit is in them both? Verse 31. Better is he that hideth his folly than a man that hideth his wisdom. It's better to hide folly than for you to hide wisdom from people. Because a lot of people, and when I read the scripture of Tobit, chapter 14, and chapter 4 and verse 12, about beware, it said, my son, beware of all whoredom, and chiefly take a wife of thine own tribe, right? My son Jeremiah, he's like, Dad, I never knew that. He said, Daddy, I never knew that. I never knew that that's what said that. I said, son, it's a lot you don't know. It's a lot I have to teach you, right? It's a lot of things I have to teach you, right? But we have to teach our children, and when it has to be under the right context. It can't just be, you can't just bark a whole lot of knowledge at them and think it's that's it. No, it has to be rightly done at the right time. A little bit here and a little bit there. And that's how I do with my boys. I give them a little bit here, a little bit there, right? Now watch this. Let me show you guys through the Spirit how to deal with, it could be a father-son relationship. It could be a mother-daughter relationship. It could be a grandmother versus a grandson, grandfather versus a grandson relationship, or even a co-worker that's over you relationship, right? Or somebody that's actually just a teacher teaching you, right? Now watch this. I want you to go to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 6. And this is something that shows us how to deal with people in a mentor and teacher relationship, right? It teaches you how to be in that type of relationship, right? And a lot of times people didn't see it this way, but watch this. It's going to show you, this Bible is going to be, it's something to show you how to function with people in different relationships. Sometimes you're the student and they the master. Sometimes you're the master and they the student, and you got to show people stuff. So just because you have people that are teaching you stuff, that anybody's teaching you something, that's your master. Like in Kung Fu, they call them sensei, or they call them master. You know what I'm saying? Same thing that they spoke to Christ. He was the teacher. So whoever's in a teaching position is the master. Now watch this. This is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 5. It says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh. This is going into that student teacher relationship, right? It says, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. Meaning, the way you approach the situation, you approach the situation in that type of situation with humbleness in your heart. Don't approach it like you know everything. Just listen, right? Watch this. Verse 6. Not with eye service as man pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of Yahweh from the heart. Stop. So it says not with eye service, it says not with eye service or as man pleasers. So he's telling you don't be no brown nose. Oh yes, sir. Don't be up nobody's butt. Don't do that. How about be humble? But then at the same time, he said, not with eye service either. So don't be arrogant either. So being the arrogant dude trying to learn, or being the brown nose trying to learn, those are both wrong. You can scratch both of those out. Both of them scratched out, right? That's not the way that you enter into a student-teacher relationship or somebody you're learning from. It says, verse 6 again, it says, not with eye service, as man pleasers, but as servants of Christ, doing the will of the Most High from the heart, meaning you're doing it from the heart. You're learning. Now watch this. Verse 7. With goodwill doing service as to the Most High and not to man. So it's telling you, and I want y'all to understand something. This doesn't mean that you go to the person and be like, see, I'm doing this for the Lord, nigga. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. No, he's telling you how to behave or how to carry yourself when in that type of situation. I'm gonna treat you with respect and dignity as my teacher, because this is the way I'm supposed to behave in the Lord. The way that I don't have any way to show the Most High that I love him than how I treat my fellow man. The only way that he'll know how I love him or how I revere him or how deep my respect is how I deal with my brothers, right? That's what he's going. That's what it's going into, right? Go to Ecclesiastes. I'm going to show you something. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 6. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 6. I'm going to show you something. We're going to learn today, right? We're going to learn something today. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 6. Watch this. It says, suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. I'm going to read that again. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore shall the Most High be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands. Watch this. Whenever you are acting rash or you're being arrogant or prideful in your behavior, you can destroy everything that you built. Everything that you build, or you can destroy relationships. you can destroy just by being arrogant. It's not about you talking and cursing somebody out as much as it is what comes out of your mouth, how it comes out of your mouth, how people receive it. Be very careful of how you say things. Be very careful of how you come across to people. And that, I'm telling y'all, I have worked on that. That's one of my biggest peeves on how I come across to people. I know I can be a bit of my disposition. I can be a bit of a butthole. I can be that. So I try to work on how I come across to people. Okay. And that can be a big thing, right? I want you to go to Sirach chapter 18 and verse 15. Sirach chapter 18 and verse 15. I want to show you guys something. Sirach chapter 18 and verse 15. It says, my son, blemish not thy good deeds, neither use uncomfortable words when thou givest anything. It's not even talking about cursing. This is not talking about cursing people out. This says, I'm going to read it again. It says, my son, blemish not thy good deeds, because you can blemish something that you built over time with a person by just talking slick, right? By talking crazy to them. It says, blemish not thy good deeds, neither use uncomfortable words when thou givest anything. Shall not the dew eschew the heat? So is a word better than a gift, meaning choose your words carefully. Try to use smart words, or words that are not really offensive when you're trying to explain something. When you're explaining something, this is what you do. Explain it as clearly and as best as you can. Sometimes people's understanding don't be what yours is, but after you've explained it, try to use short words with it. Don't use a bunch of words, just use short words so it can be easily understood, right? But that's how you do it. Now watch this. It says, verse 17, it says, lo, is not a word better than a gift? But both are with a gracious man. So sometimes when you want to say what you need to say or want to say, sometimes you have to use a better word. You got to use wisdom. And I was tested on that, because that's my biggest struggle, people. I'm not trying to tell y'all that this is not my biggest struggle. That's my biggest struggle. Telling people what they really should, what I really want them to know, rather than telling them what I need to say, right? Verse 18. A fool will upbraid churlishly, and a gift of the envious consumeth the eyes. It says a fool will upbraid, meaning yell out churlishly without no regard to how it comes across to people. A fool will upbraid or talk crazy, right? That's what he's saying. A fool, the word upbraid means to yell or raise up. Will upbraid churlishly without no regard for nobody, right? It says, and a gift of the envious consumeth the eyes, meaning what you want, you know, if what you want may not be what you may get. Now watch this. Verse 19. Learn before thou speak. What? Learn before thou speak, and use physic or ever thou be sick. Now, I looked up that word. He said, learn before you speak. Make sure you understand what you're saying. Make sure you use your words carefully. Sometimes when you say things and you put that thing in the universe, it's hard to take back words or mean words that you say, crude words that you said. It's hard to take it back. When you've insulted somebody or said something, very hard to take it back, because they probably won't trust you anymore, right? Now I looked up that word, the word physik. It says an archaic term for a laxative or for practice of medicine. Now watch this. It says generally in pre-modern medicine, Latin or Latin, a Latin word for, watch this, the study of nature, right? So that's what that's why I put there. And I try to, if there's a word that I don't know, I try to get a definition for it. And he says, learn before thou speak, and use physik or ever thou be sick, right? So use, use words that are not runny. Use words that are less abrasive, right? And I'm just paraphrasing that, you guys. I'm just paraphrasing that, right? And it says, verse 20 says, before judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy. So before judgment, before things happen, look how you go about. Look what you say and how you say it, right? We have to make sure that we are being wise, right? And I always speak like this. This is not new. This right here, what I'm saying is nothing new at all, right? I want to take you to Proverbs chapter 28 again. We're going to go back to 28, and I want to read verse 10, right? This is Proverbs chapter 28. Let me get there real quick. Proverbs chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 10, okay? And it says, whoso causes the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. Meaning, you have to watch what you say to people that are righteous or doing what's right. It's not going to be good for you. It's going to be bad for you. It says, but the upright shall have good things in possession. Meaning, if you're upright, if you're keeping God's law, if you're doing what's righteous, you're gonna reap good things. You're gonna store up good things, right? Watch this. Verse 11. A rich man is wise in his own consent. So if a rich man is wise in his own consent, it says, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth them out. This word poor here is humble, right? A rich man here is somebody who is rich in the world and has, right? A rich man is wise in his own consent. He's following his own fleshly heart. But the poor or the humble that hath understanding searches them out. So a person who is humble is going to take his time and search those things out. Okay? Now watch this. Verse 12. It says, when righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. You see that? When the wicked rise, a man is hidden. But when righteous man rejoice, there is great glory. So it's glory in being righteous and doing what's right. It's glory and rejoicing in righteousness. But when a wicked man comes out, it says, when the wicked come out, a man is hidden. So you hide the man that is yourself. You hide the real man. A real man is a man who can take accountability, right? And these are things that help us to heal ourselves from the former life, from the former man we were. When we start taking accountability, when we start monitoring ourselves on how we speak to people, how we treat people. I'll tell y'all something. I have a better work relationship now that I'm in this state of mind. And I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. I work with different people. I work with a lot of different people. And now I'm not predicating myself on just people that are in this truth with me. Everybody that I meet enjoy being around me. Every, I don't care who they are. Esau, Moab, Ammon, Ishmael. I don't care who's around me. My light shines everywhere. I treat the way that I am with people, I treat people with dignity, and I try to keep that same thing on. Sometimes the devil comes and gets busy, right? But I try to keep this mode going because I know this way that I am now is going to do nothing but help me. And we have to remember, when we run into diverse temptations, we got to remember that the people that we're around are sick. The people that we're in congregation with, whenever they do something wrong or mess up, we got to remember they're sick too. So we have to remember these things, and we have to show that infinite compassion for our brothers and sisters. We have to continue to be examples in this walk for people who we're around that may fall sometimes. We got to continue to do that. And before I leave, I need to read one precept for you guys, and that's it for today. This is Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 16. It says, "For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief." Meaning, if you're just, it doesn't mean you will never fall. It doesn't mean that you can't live as the perfect, as the scriptures say. But it says a just man falleth 7 times and he's going to get back up. But guess what? It says a wicked man is going to fall into mischief, meaning he's going to stay there. But see, we're not going to, we're the children of the Most High. We make mistakes, but guess what? We don't stay there. We're not going to stay there. Not the people that are really his children. We're not, and I could go to the book of 1 John and show you who the wicked is, and if you are light, I'm not going to do that today, but we are not going to stay in sin as a people. We're going to continue to get better and better. And when we do fall down, guess what? We're going to dust ourselves off and we're going to keep on moving, right? And we're going to exhort each other to continue in this walk. That's our class for the day. I hope you guys got some good precepts. I hope you guys learned something. And with that, I say shalom. And shalom, family. Shalom, Clinton Jones. Shalom, Shalimar. Shalom, Ephraim ben Yahshua. I apologize if I got that wrong. Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. I love you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shalom, family.